week or something, because this might get extended because these particular years are so important, and we have these choices to make, and we can make them, or we can do nothing, or we can go to the military, or we could just go get a job, or we can hop in the dope game, or we can hop in, the streets. We can go rob somebody, whatever, it's all these different options, right? And we're actually legally old enough to make these decisions, 18 to 24.
I wonder, right? I
Mm-hmm.
wonder how many 18-year-olds graduate high school and our culture,
Mm-hmm.
right? And want to be like their parents.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got some coaches, well, when they graduate, all they want to do is be like their dad. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They just want to follow in his footsteps
Mm-hmm.
or be like their mom. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I
Mm-hmm.
wonder, Quita, was that your thing? Like when you graduated high school, did you like, I'm just going to go ahead and be like my mom. I'm going to do what my mom did. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
Want to
I wanted to
thought.
go to I wanted to go to college. Like my mom did, she did certain things, but I wanted to go away and go off to college. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to be here.
So
Mm-hmm.
talk about that. Why happened? Like, why didn't you go away?
Well, I got pregnant, and at that point in time, my daughter was my main responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
and that I allowed that to overcome my mental and just I became a parent. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
At
at
18,
19,
you was a parent?
I was pregnant at 18. Yeah,
Okay.
I had my daughter at 19 years old. I
Mm-hmm.
turned eight. I turned 19 in December. She was born March 1st.
So was it a thing of like you pregnant, so now you about to get married type vibe? Like was you like I'm pregnant, so now I'm about to start this family. I'm gonna get married. This is my life.
Nope. My daughter's father walked away from me when I was probably about 3 months pregnant, and I told him it was okay. I said she'll be just fine without you.
So what about pro-life versus pro-choice? How do you feel about that?
I mean, each to each their own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna knock nobody for what they choose. If I get pregnant, I mean that was my mix up. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know what for me for they say never because you don't know what place in life you'll be at that point to say, you know what, I can't do this
Mm-hmm.
time. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I had all the children that I became pregnant with. For me, the
Mm-hmm.
baby factory is shut down.
Mm-hmm. It's
So,
I always wonder when it comes to that. I had to do a paper about that, like women's rights. I was in a women's studies class, and we had to do a paper on pro-life versus pro-choice. And I had no idea about none of that. You know what I mean? And I really studied, women and trying to figure out well, yeah, they don't need that baby. You know what I'm saying? Or yeah, I'm the man, so I supposed to tell her to, she ain't supposed to have that baby and all this other kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? But I really come to realize that I'm a pro-choice guy. You know what I mean? I feel like you should have a choice in the decision or whatever you're supposed to do with your body. But I had to learn that though. I didn't know that coming out the gate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I you know, I didn't I knew what I wanted to be, but it wasn't nobody like, so as a kid I always wanted to be a stockbroker. And so that was my thing, couple of movies. I just thought stockbrokers made
Mm-hmm.
a lot of money, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That was my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So um turning 18, you know what I'm saying, I done did my research and it was like, well, I gotta go to school for banking and finance. I gotta learn how money work, interest rate, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, I filled out my application. I paid for it. Johnson C. Smith was like it's a private school, and it was like the only school at that time that was still accepting applications. And they
Mm-hmm.
accepted them, you know what I'm saying? Because looking back, it's a private school. I could have went to any of those schools, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it was more of that type of time for me. I had to like really figure it out. And to be honest with you, when I went to school, I thought that just going to school was just like a get your degree you gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I didn't understand none of the other stuff that went along with it. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm kind of interested to see, you know, you might could speak on this, like the black experience, the black school experience versus the white school experience. Have you have any introduction to like the white school experience at all?
I visited them, but I didn't ever, you know, like like for me, right, going to an all black school,
Yeah,
you was constantly around a bunch of black people.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And so for that, it was a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like you would go out at lunchtime at around 12 o'clock. Everybody was out in the
yeah,
yard, and it looked like a fashion show, right? You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
Lunchtime, you out there, you chilling. Like, okay,
yeah,
this is
yeah,
that time.
yeah.
And then around about 5 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? The band would come through, and that was like a thing. Every day, the band come through at 5 o'clock. So everybody go get dressed. You click up, you find your little spot, and you stand on the yard. The band come through, and we stayed out there until the you know what I'm saying, to the nightfall. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it was really dope. We had like really cool basketball games and stuff like that. I think that, you know, putting it on a resume, it didn't hold no weight. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
when I graduated college and I went to my first interview to be a stockbroker,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I got the rude awakening.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I understood, you know, I've never been a black or white type of guy, right? I've never been
Mm-hmm.
the guy to say I'm black. I'm getting held back because I'm black. I've never been that person. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But
Mm-hmm.
what happened was I went to my first interview fresh out of college to be a stockbroker, and I went in there and I had my suit and tie on. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was ready for the interview,
Mm-hmm.
but the first thing that stuck out me the most was here I was in a suit and tie, and I was nervous, and I was sitting beside this white kid. He just had a little sweater, and you know he wasn't nowhere near dressed the part. I thought you should have dressed the part. You know
To
what I'm
be a
saying? To
stockbroker.
still stockbroker.
Yeah.
But what that white kid told me, and I never forget it. He says, "I already got the clientele. You know what I'm saying? I already got the people that I'm gonna sell to. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?" And so then when I went into the interview, it wasn't about what I knew about the stock, because I knew about it. It wasn't about that. It was about, he asked me, he says, you know, who in your family is going to invest $200,000,
Mm.
$100,000?
The money.
Like, who do you know
The
that's
money.
going? Yeah, he asked me that, and that's when the rude awakening happened. You know what I'm saying? That's when
Mm-hmm.
it dawned on me that I can't be no broker right now. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because it was a real question. Like the guy, I'm talking about, you know, me, I got to give a gab, you know what I'm saying? So the interview was going
Right.
great, and he liked me. So when then he
Right.
sat back in that chair, you know, he put his leg up. He said, "Solano, let me ask you a real question. Tell me somebody in your family that you know that will be willing to invest $200,000 into a brokerage firm. You know what I'm saying? Someone that you can make commission off of.
Mm.
Tell me about somebody like that."
Mm.
And that's when it dawned on me. You know what I'm saying? That's why the kid out there was so cool. Because
Mm-hmm. He
he knew
already
what
knew he
time,
had a job.
yeah, he knew what time it was. He knew I'm just gonna holler at my dad friends and them, and all I gotta do is get the position and I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
So from what I'm hearing, that's more classism than have anything to do with race.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could definitely take it like that. I guess for me, I looked at it as race because of our color at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your typical white kid, your black
Mm-hmm.
kid. Black kid ain't got nobody in the family. White
Mm-hmm.
kid got, you know, and that's so. But it definitely falls in the category of classism. I'm just telling you my perception, being around about 24 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
interview, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's when I came to the conclusion that I would never tell any of my kids or anybody that they got to be 10 times better than somebody else.
Mm.
That's when I came to that conclusion, because at that moment I realized it's not about being 10 times better, it's about being great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and being
in your
prepared.
own path too.
Yeah.
I really thought, this was my mindset, because I got into A&T, I got into UNCC, I got into NC State, and I applied to Howard, but they never sent me nothing back. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to the white school. That's going to look better on my resume. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I really said that
Yeah.
out in my thoughts. And I really believe that. But I know some people who graduated from A&T killing the game right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
didn't have to go through the same struggle that I went through. You know what I mean? Even though I got that on my resume,
Yeah.
got UNC, good grades,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of that. So I really, just to your point, we have to develop our own path. And these schools, you can go to the white school, you can go to the black school, you can go, not go as some people that didn't even go to school at all,
Mm-hmm.
killing the game right now. You see what I'm saying? So that idea, and I feel like that idea was actually input into our minds. You see what I'm saying? Like those thoughts was, oh, well, if you go to the military, like even my mama told me, military ain't no place for a black man. You know what I'm saying? She said it. So
She got
I
that.
ain't
She got
go.
that from Boys in the Hood. She got that from
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, straight up. Straight
Serious.
up. So I ain't go. Not to mention they had a war going on during that time.
Yeah.
George Bush, he was sending them off to Iraq, and some of them wasn't making it home. So it's like we have these choices, and I was like, well, I'm going to school. I'm going to school. So I got a question, and this is just interesting. Like, what type of benefits do you feel like you got from going to college, or what kind of benefits do you feel like you missed out on by not going to college, Quita?
Well, I didn't go to like a 4-year college. I went to King's College eventually.
Uh-huh.
I even went to CPCC and got some credits there because I was going to do social work.
Yeah.
I went to King's College and got my certificate in medical assisting. I had excellent grades. I was on the dean's list of excellence. I always kept over 3.5 GPA. I actually just found my notebook in my closet with the letters of recommendation from when I did go to school, from all of my professors.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel that it's all within the person, because some people, after conversation will find out, well, I didn't go to college. But they're like, well, you sound so educated and you sound so this. Well, just because I sound a certain way doesn't mean that I didn't learn something along the way. So I think that it just depends on the person, because I mean, I've gotten positions that some people, that they put that bachelor's degree or equivalent experience. So when you put the equivalent, I have the equivalent experience. I was a store manager at the age of 19 years old, so I learned management on my own by going to work and showing up every single day, put my best foot forward. And I mean, like, literally, I didn't even tell the people I was pregnant during the interview. I got the job.
Well, that's right.
I worked there for about a month, and then after I worked there for a month, I was like, look, I'm pregnant. I'm gonna have a baby. He was like, wow, really? I was like, yeah, but I need this job. And he was like, all right, so guess what? I showed and proved that I needed the job. And right before I left to have her, I was promoted to a store manager. So, I got my experience started there. So it's just to each their own. It's all about taking the experiences from your life and learning how to benefit them for yourself.
Yeah.
And to your point, you might have this degree, but if you don't have no experience, they not hiring you. And you spent these 4 years going to school, but that time could have been developing some type of experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 I agree. I think, like, so for me, I think the benefit of going to school was when you get away from your environment, you really learn who you are as an individual. Like you start to really fall into your character of who you are, because now you ain't with your old friends.
Them influences ain't there.
Yeah, you making your new friends. You start gravitating to people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Specific people that remind you of some of the people you used to be around, but yet it's still you know, you start becoming
Mm-hmm.
who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think that was like the first thing, and then I think the second thing college did for me, it allowed me to learn how to think outside the box.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I developed a mindset of things never is what they appear. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Never closed minded, open minded about
Yeah.
anything. You know what I'm saying? And like now today, you know, I'm 43 years old, and you know the job that it took me almost 20 years to get a job with my degree. 20
Mm-hmm.
years, you all. Like, I'm talking about, I'd have been a social worker. You know, I'd have worked at Amazon. Like, ain't a
Mm-hmm.
job that I ain't had, you know what I'm saying, on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm in my career, you know what I'm saying, I can see what retirement look like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't
Mm-hmm.
work hard. You know what I'm saying? I don't like on this journey. I've been on my feet for 12 hours. Right? I've had
Mm-hmm.
that type of job. You know what I'm saying? Or
Mm-hmm.
I've had to deal with someone's BS about something that I really didn't want to do. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But
Mm-hmm.
now I wake up every day and I love what I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the biggest benefit for me going to college is that I love what I do, and this is what I went to school
Yeah.
for. So it's
Yeah.
almost like having a job and having a career.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have a career
Yeah.
based on
Mm-hmm.
going to college. So I think that was the biggest benefit. The biggest disadvantage is the cost of college, right? Like
Yeah.
having that
Especially when you ain't got
loan.
no money. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I think that's like the biggest disadvantage. But would I do it again?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I would just be more goal oriented.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Stay out
Yeah.
the way. You know what I'm saying? Join a fraternity. Like I didn't do that. Like I thought I ain't following nobody. I used to be right there talking about I'm me five me.
Mm.
That's my fraternity. Me
Yeah.
five me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm me five me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Being silly. You know what I'm saying? Not understanding that it's a brotherhood. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I can link up with this brother. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I can call this brother up like, yo, man, my son, he need an opportunity. I got you, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think about that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I didn't know that. I didn't do an internship when I was in college. You know what I'm saying? College was real for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
just just to be transparent,
Mm-hmm.
right? I sold drugs in college. I
Mm.
um my best friend got murdered in college.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like my best friend that I was in college with, he got murdered. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
him getting murdered in college, it changed my life. You know what I'm saying? Because when it happened, it was traumatic, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I had to go to this kid's to my best friend mother house on Christmas Day and tell her her son was dead.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had to do that on Christmas. And it was so crazy because, you know, prior to my best friend getting murdered, right? This is why I'm so spiritual. Prior to my best friend getting murdered, we went my stepmother, my father's a pastor. He was a pastor in Charlotte. And
Mm-hmm.
so when he died when I was 15, my stepmother, she took his spot and she started running this church or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
her thing was, when are y'all gonna come to church? She used to always ask us that. And so we was like, we're gonna come this particular Sunday. Well, we promised her we was gonna go. We go out the night before, right? Show up to church Sunday, dead tired, right? But we said we was gonna come. So we in the back of the church sleep, right? This pastor says, y'all think y'all gonna sleep in my church? Y'all think y'all really on this type of time? Y'all gonna come to my church and sleep? He says, I gotta tell y'all something. One of y'all gonna die. He
Mm.
said this in the church service. So when he said that, I told my guy, I said, Bust, I'm going home. I said,
Mm-hmm.
yo, something got to happen to me. It's got to happen in Burger. Like I can't be out here because it was just that
Mm-hmm.
real. He was like, one of y'all, something gonna happen to one of y'all. And I went home and he stayed. And so when I went to his mom's house that day, I didn't even have to tell her. I went there. She looked at my face. They don't come to my house on Christmas and tell me this. I don't tell me this. Like, don't come to my house on Christmas Day with this type of nonsense. Like, don't tell me this. And I was just like, I pretty much knew that he would want me to go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anybody had to do it, it had to be me. And but it didn't stop me from graduating. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, you know, that was probably like the biggest, like that was one of the adversity moments for me, because when I went back to school and going back to school and then coming out my apartment and my neighbor saying, "Yo, where Busta at?" That's when it hit me. Now I got to come out my mouth and be like, "Yo, Busta dead." You know what I'm saying? Or when I go back to college and I'm on campus and it's like, because you know Christmas is a break. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now you're talking about we coming back from Christmas break and everybody like, "Yo, where you at?" And everybody that seen me, now I'm having to start to come out my mouth and say this thing of, he ain't here. You know what I'm saying? He not here. You know what I mean? So it was a major moment in my life, because
you met him at school?
Well, this is what's so crazy, right? Me and him went to the same high school, but we couldn't get along. Yeah, Quita. You know why we couldn't get along, Quita. You know what I'm saying? He liked me. You know what I'm saying? You boy, you keep trying to mess with these girls. That's my girlfriend.
Kid and play.
Yeah. So I end up, one of his girls. We didn't like each other. But when we got into college, it was like, we from the same neighborhood. And he was older than me, so he kind of like, yo, this is how it gotta go. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So it was like us being from the same neighborhood, we just clicked. And
okay.
And then it
a little
just
more
became,
mature.
yeah. And then we just being transparent. So where my college work is, you had to pay a deposit to keep your room. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have the money after my first year. I didn't have the money to pay the deposit before it was time. So after my first year, I didn't have nowhere to stay. So I put my clothes in my car, told my mom, "Yeah, I'm gone." I didn't know where the hell I was going to stay, but I knew I went. Like, I was refusing. Now I was going to graduate. I didn't give a damn how it had to come. Like, I was going to get my degree. You know what I'm saying? So at this moment, it was like I hopped in the car, drove to Charlotte. I didn't know where I was going to stay. And so he says, "Well, you got to scab, right? Call it scabbing." Well, what scabbing was, you find a girl that you like, and you stay with her, and you go take a shower. Boys don't. But at night you go. I'm just being transparent. Like, so that's kind of how it was for us. So that's kind of how it was for us. And then I end up getting an apartment with one of my cousins, and my grandmother was like, "Yo, you gotta take them with you. Like, you can't, like, you share your room with him. Like, you tell them you can't stay unless he stays." And that's just what it was. So we end up sharing a room in my cousin's house. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like, it was like an everyday thing. You know what I'm saying? Man, this guy sharing a room in college. You know what I'm saying? But it was one of those moments where the ironic thing is, you say pro-life, pro-choice. A month and a half before he got murdered, he got a girl pregnant, and I begged him to keep the baby. And he couldn't see no outs. He was like, "Man, I can't do it. I barely could take care of myself. We were out here sharing a room." He gave me every excuse in the world not to keep that baby. And I'm like, "Dude, you don't know how life. Just keep the baby." And he took her and had an abortion. And then a month later, he got murdered. Yeah.
It's crazy that that college experience was portrayed to us like it was supposed to be the most positive thing ever in our life, but to me it was like a controlled life experience, even though life was still going on. You know what I mean? The dope gang was still going around. People were still getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
People was dropping out of school, never coming back. People was just fighting. That was a big thing. Matter of fact, like we used to throw parties at UNCC, and we had to go to Johnson C. Smith to promote. You see what I'm saying? Because we knew that was gonna bring the crowd. We knew that was coming with it. So when they started playing that Pastor or that UGK or whatever it was like that. You know what I'm saying? Wherever the party was, JC.
Ask
You.
you.
You didn't think I
Yeah.
do that.
Come
You
on,
didn't
come on. You can't do that.
think I do that. See?
You
You
can't
see
do
what I'm
that.
saying? I know that because they was in the crowd and that's what they would
Yeah.
say. You see what I'm saying? When the music
Yeah.
go. And
Yeah.
we the little timid UNCC little kids over here, you know what I'm saying? And like it's just interesting that experience. I didn't experience that. You know what I mean? It was different over on UNCC campus.
Yeah,
People
you know.
died, but they died because they was drinking too much or stuff like that. But one dude did jump out the window though. We had them high rises. He was selling drugs on campus. White boy jumped out the window. Thought life was over. You know what I mean? Because they had called him, and they came up to. I think he was on the 8th floor. Jumped out the window.
Yeah.
Gone. See what I'm saying? So it was stuff like that going on. Of course, like the drugs was floating around, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But as far as benefits though, I interacted with all different types of people. So it was different people on a real path going to somewhere. I didn't know where it was going, but it was going somewhere, and you could feel the energy that I had never seen before. They might be Indian, they might be Chinese, they might be white, you know what I mean? They might be black, you know what I mean? They might be a girl, whatever. They was playing sports, running track, whatever, and all these pieces start coming together. And for what I'm hearing, in 2000, it was a lawsuit against UNCC. So they wasn't letting in enough, according to affirmative action, they wasn't letting in enough black students. So when I put my application in, I just kind of got in. I was like, wow, I didn't know that was going to be that easy. But they was letting all these students in who normally wouldn't have a chance to go. You see what I'm saying? So
that's dope. Johnson C. Smith was in the middle of the hood though.
Yeah.
Like we downtown, like we in the middle. Like you leave Johnson Smith and go to Two-Way in the Church's Chicken.
Yep.
That's like you in the hood. Like every black college is in the hood. Every black college is in the hood.
It really is though. It really is.
Ironic. I'm telling you.
It really
majority of the black colleges, they're gonna be on Martin Luther King Street.
Central. Johnson C. Smith.
Yeah.
What's that one? What's that one in Salisbury? It used to be a school down there.
I don't know.
Close to Concord. It's
Barber
closed
Scotia?
down now. Barber Scotia.
Yeah.
That school is long gone, shut down. It is like not in anything. The crazy part about it is the school, all the original buildings are still there, but they're not doing anything with the historical site.
Barber Scotia.
They're doing nothing with the Barber Scotia site. Nothing.
We went down there to promote too.
in the chat, they say Winston-Salem State is in the hood. You know what I'm saying? On MLK. I don't even know if it's like ironic that that's the irony that the majority of the black colleges, the majority of the black
to these places,
colleges are
I think they just kind of ventured out. I think the schools was there and they just kind of stayed close by, so these communities kind of like stayed as they was or something like that. I really don't know that.
You had people like me and Fever hanging out with the college students because college students was fun. You know what I'm saying? Like it was fun because your parents sent you off to school. So for those that were sent off to school, they trusted you.
Yeah.
So they felt like you were doing the things that you needed to do.
Yeah.
But hell, some of them was only there for the fun, especially those that went to HBCUs.
Yeah,
me too. You know what I'm saying? Me too. Like,
that was the coolest thing about my life. I had been living that lifestyle, so I knew how to maintain. You know what I'm saying? I've been hanging out, drinking. So, cause like I've seen kids come to school and ruin their life. Like literally, get drunk, fall through a window, hurt
Yeah.
themselves. Parents got to come
Yeah.
get them. Get drunk, start getting depressed. Like I seen all of that. But me, I had been doing it. Like I knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? I knew. Like my motto was always business before pleasure. You know what I'm saying? I go do my homework. Same way I was living my life in high school. Go do the homework. Go do the work. Then I go outside.
That's,
you know what I'm saying?
Look, and that's totally understandable. You just got some that didn't know how to maintain that. They didn't. There was no work-life balance for them
at all. I started with a 1.69 GPA that first semester because of that. I could not get my mind on the books. I was on everything else. I was on everything else, you know what I'm saying? Stuff I ain't never seen before. You know what I mean? I never seen
so
it.
your problem was exposure. You didn't have prior exposure.
A culture shock.
So
I had a
when
culture
you went
shock.
to school, it was like, wow, they really be girls be doing that. So I mean, I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? Because, but I mean, like, I partially grew up in the hood for some of my life. Like, I grew up in Greentown, and I grew up in Hidden Valley. So I had exposure early in life. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that people don't understand when they say, well, you had it good. Well, baby, I lived in the hood. I lived in housing authority before. I know what that's like. I may not have stayed in it forever, but I still know what it feels like. So for me, you know, that was us living, like going out, going to parties and people drinking and getting drunk and high and all of those other things. Like, oh, okay, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, because I still had friends that came from the hood, even when my mom took us out.
Yeah. And like you say, them Kappas, them Alphas, the Qs wasn't on campus. They got kicked off, but all the rest of them, all the girls, oh my God. You know, I'm like, all right, that's cool and all of that. You know what I mean? But I'm somebody too. But see, I actually played ball. You see what I'm saying? So in my mind, I was going to the NBA. I was going to the NBA. You see what I'm saying? And like one of those life-changing moments is when I dislocated my ankle.
Wow.
I had my foot was stuck like that, 2002. And like life, I felt like life was over then. You know what I mean? Because at that point, but I always had a brain. You see what I'm saying? I always had a brain, so I wasn't worried about it. I stayed in school. It actually made me more focused instead of just playing ball every day and going to the Cav, going to the U, not doing a whole lot of nothing. You know what I mean? And I was in the library more.
For those of you that
all because my foot.
Don't know, it's the cafeteria and the student union.
Yeah. Yeah. They call that the sack on UNC campus,
They not ghetto, they got flavor. That's all.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I think but the ironic thing is this, right? Going to college, we supposed to have a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like a real plan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got people out here that don't be playing. Like they be having like a real plan. Like
direction. They know where they're going.
And yeah. They parents got them on a plan. You know what I'm saying? They coaching. They on a different track. You know what I'm saying? Like in the Indian culture, they ain't taking no less than A's in their grades. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean you gotta be?
Yeah.
They don't play that. The expectation
is
here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and so
we sell ourselves short all the time.
All the time.
We sell ourselves short. We could do so much more, but we sell ourselves short.
We on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We be on some bullshit. Like, we be so focused on being famous, right? Like we wanna be famous.
The light.
We don't want to be wealthy.
Yeah.
We want to be famous.
Yeah.
We don't want to be wealthy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why we take the approach that we take a lot of times. That's why we do the stuff that we do a lot of times.
That's why we buy the Cadillac and not the Honda. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's why we go spend our money on clothes and not books.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We want to be famous. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I want to be seen.
Yeah. it's crazy because we've taken the time to talk from elementary, middle school to high school, right? And what I realize is that through all these phases, we were never programmed for the success, right?
We missed it. We missed it.
Like coaches program their kids for the success.
Yeah.
You get programmed. Like, it's not like our kids be in elementary school thinking life is about shoes, clothes. You know what I'm saying? In elementary school, they want this Jordans. It be about a whole bunch of bullshit. It don't be about, let me learn this, educate. Let me be the best speller. Let me be the smartest in math. You know what I'm saying?
And learning how to treat people properly in order to have a successful life.
Right. It don't be about that. It be about all the bullshit. And it go from elementary to program, then the middle school it gets worse, and then the high school is worse. So by the time they get to college, the program in their mind, what life is about, the famous shit, you know what I'm saying, wanting to be famous.
Want to be seen.
I want to be famous.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be wealthy. I want to be famous.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why our culture can't work together.
We
everybody want to be
so far
be
behind.
famous.
We be behind the mark. You know what I mean? And some of it is like systematically programmed, right? And then some of it is our fault. Some of it we're looking at this shit like it's supposed to be like that, but it's actually like this. You see what I'm saying? And we're missing the mark. We're missing the start line. They shot the gun and we just sitting there looking cool. You know what I mean? Waiting. We lost. Coming out the gate, we lost. This shit, even coming out the womb. You know what I'm saying? They taking your placenta and having them experiments on your placenta. You know what I mean? Trying to find the genetics out of your placenta. They trying to figure out how did you survive through all of this stuff. We still behind the mark though.
Yeah.
The crazy part about it, the sooner that they realize that it ain't even really about our genetics. It is, but it isn't. It's not. It's so deeply rooted beyond DNA.
Yeah.
So the second that they understand it, it's further deeper. It's deeper than that. You're not going to be able to pull out any 23 chromosomes from either side and say this is why they've made it. You're not going to be able to do that. It's because when you come from when your culture comes from the struggle and you see struggle over and over and over and over, you get stronger and stronger. It's just a matter of who gets stronger and stronger. The ones that are getting stronger, are they able to make a difference, or are they keeping it to themselves?
Yeah.
Let me ask you all a question. I got a real question. So, is it that our culture, like what make is it our culture being slaves? Is that what make our culture different than any other culture in America? Like, what makes our culture so different than any other culture in America? Is it because of the history of America that suppresses our culture? Because I'm sure that there's other cultures that were slaves, but maybe not in America, but somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how does that work? Like, what's different about our culture than any other culture that we can't get past that? Like, how does that work?
You want to try, Quita, or you want to think about it a minute?
I'm sitting here thinking, because once again, it goes deeper than DNA. So I'm like where do we go? I don't want to say wrong.
Let's see. I learned this in my afterlife. Like I'm in my afterlife right now. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not speaking from that time.
I like your afterlife,
Yeah, I'm in my afterlife right now, so I got a different understanding. And when you go to different countries, right? It's slaves over there. You see what I'm saying? It's black slaves who sold their people off. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I think it's deeply past the slave shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's something, I don't know what it is. I might look at my brown brother right here, right? Man, fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? fuck that nigga. And like, it's deeply rooted. It's like, it's something about your skin, your face, how you moving. The other person don't like you. They hate you. Why? Because of your smile, because of how you survive. What is it, bro? You know what I mean? So I'm saying all that to say it's deeper than the slave shit. The slave is a part of it, right? It's a part of it. It does put you at a disadvantage. To come from slave, it's certain things that you're not able to acquire. But you know, redlining is a part of that. You know what I mean? You lived in this neighborhood because the neighborhood was redlined. It was it was designed that way. The school that you went to is designed that way. You know, like they got affirmative action just so they can put our kind in a school because we wasn't getting higher education. So all of these things are working against us. It's not just I was a slave, you know, my ancestors was a slave. That's part of it, but that's not all of it. You know what I'm saying?
I get that. I get that. And so, and what you're saying is, in the process of these things happening, it caused a condition within our culture. Like that,
Mm-hmm.
it was a condition that has been grown, and even in the process of it being grown, because, and the reason why I ask this is because now, when I see America, I see so many other cultures in America that it can't just be black and white. Like America is not black and white no more.
No, not at all.
You know what
Not
I'm
at
saying?
all.
It's not
My
black and
question
white no
though,
more.
I got a question for you though. Okay, have you ever went into a bank and tried to get a loan?
Yeah.
And what was the answer? Did they deny you or did they give you the loan?
They gave it to me.
Okay. How much was it for?
Really, the first one I got, it's like 5,000.
Okay. Well, so suppose that white boy you was talking about earlier, right?
Yeah.
Suppose he goes into the bank and his people got, $200,000 somewhere and he want this opportunity to get a loan for $250,000.
Hmm.
Now, do Quita, I want to ask you, do you feel like you to right now today, no, at 19 or 20, well, how old was it? 24. At 24 years old, do you feel like you can go in the bank and get a loan for $250,000?
Not at all. I had no collateral at 24. No,
And
no, nothing.
that question is like, why do we feel that way? You know what I'm saying? Why do we feel like we don't have it? You know what I'm saying? We don't have it. So that opportunity, and we don't know if the opportunity is going to work or not. They don't know if it's going to work. He's 24 years old. They don't know if he's going to turn the money and bring the money back, but they will give him that opportunity. Now we'll give you $5,000. We'll give you a student loan.
But
We'll give you one of those.
but but this is the thing that we got to take in consideration, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm an economic major,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what I went to school for, banking and finance.
Right.
And one of the things that the very first thing I learned in school was, it was a saying that in America there's no such thing as a free lunch.
No,
Everything,
Karl Marx said,
yeah,
yeah,
but everything costs, right? And
everything got a
so
cost.
so now this is what you got to take in consideration, right? This is what you got to take in consideration, and we're gonna speak from a realistic perspective, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now you got to look at, it ain't just the ideal that I'm black. It's the ideal of statistics, because when I'm giving you my money, I'm basing it on statistics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now
Mm-hmm.
if you got 40 black men that don't pay their loan back, that do
Mm-hmm.
irresponsible shit with the
Mm-hmm.
money, and I'm the 41 person to come to you, you're gonna look at me different. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
say, I done gave 40 black people, 40 black men this damn money,
Yeah.
Lionel. And now you coming to
You
me. I
another
can't
one.
I can't give you all this money because they ain't paid it
Mm-hmm.
back. So the accountability piece is, culturally, are we doing the right thing? You know what I'm saying? Because I'll give you
Yeah.
an example. Like, you being a black man, right? Your car insurance might be higher than a white man your age, right? But
Mm-hmm.
now let me ask you this. This is the real question. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I do know growing up,
Yeah.
we had so many black people keying their fucking car up to get a paint job. Come on now. Back in the day, you had people with these new paint
Set
jobs
it
to
on
keep my
fire.
shit up.
I know some
Right,
people set it on fire.
But what you don't realize is that's a statistic. Now, for the next 18-year-old kid that want to get insurance, they basing it on the other 10, 18-year-olds that done got the paint job for the low. There is no such thing as a free lunch. You see what I'm saying?
Somebody got to pay that money back.
Somebody got to pay the money back. And not only that, it's a statistic. You know what I'm saying? It's a realistic ideal of, if I'm giving out this money, I want my money back. You know what I'm saying? Now, they gave me the 5 bands. When I pay the 5 bands back, they're going to give me 10.
All right, I got.
You know what I'm saying?
I got another point for you, though. I got another point for you, because Bank of America owns slaves.
Okay.
All right. So how much free labor did they get for them to actually become Bank of America?
I don't know. But hey, let me ask you this.
So we start getting into this cat and pull, push and pull moment. It's like, now hold up, how much free labor did America, and not just Bank of America, did America receive to establish? I seen a billboard for a cotton joint right now. That's the cotton industry is still alive. People was outside picking cotton. Yeah. Okay, so how much did they get free? How much wealth was generated from them picking cotton?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So these are the arguments of saying, you owe me this money. As that black man, you owe me this. You know what I mean? My ancestors worked for this.
But you know the ironic thing about that. This is the ironic thing about that. The ironic thing about that is, for every fucking thing our ancestors did, you got an ignorant person out here just sitting on their ass doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Now, if my ancestor went out here and bust their ass, got whipped on the back, why ain't out here grinding? Why am I out here?
Why don't I appreciate these opportunities?
Yes, because this is the only thing that my ancestor earned me was for me to be the right to be an American. That's the only thing we got. We're not gonna get no money. We're not gonna get no 40 mule in the acre, all that shit. We're not gonna get that.
40 acres in a mule.
We ain't gonna get it. Only thing we gonna get is the opportunity to go out here and get it off the muscle.
I'm close.
There you go.
But
I'm just saying.
But like I said, people don't understand the amount of work. You know what I mean? You got to put the work in. They ain't giving it to me. They damn sure ain't give it to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but that's what I'm.
But that this college piece that gave me the opportunity to think critically, like you're saying. So now I'm thinking a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'm understanding how much is owed to me, but how am I going to give it? Because they ain't going to give it to me.
Let me ask you a question. I got a question. Say America was black, right? And the black people was the slave owners, and the white people were the slaves, right? Do you think we would have treated them any different if we was on that type of time? Like, do you think if we were the slave owners and we can go get these white people to work in the field for free,
not at all,
and build our bread up,
not at all,
you think we would have treated them different?
Not at all.
You think we would have whipped their ass with the whip?
Yeah.
We would have did it, right? So
they ain't work.
We would have whipped their ass.
Yeah.
We would have whipped their ass. Hey, you better get your ass out there and finish picking that damn cotton. If you seen a white girl that looked good, you probably would have took some. It's the thing of, I'm not saying what they did was right. What I'm saying is this shit happened. And then I deal of it happening, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like what like realistically is our culture doing for our ancestors? Like you talking about, hey, I don't, and don't shun me, but I ain't study history, right? I didn't. I should have. But you talking about somebody like Harriet Tubman, right? And did what she did, right? To get away and do all this stuff, right? But then these people can't go out here and get a fucking job, man.
Well,
it's not that they can't get a job either.
The job where? Meaning like the job at somewhere where they're paying me less than what I'm worth? Is that the type of job you're
What
referring to?
I'm saying is, you in America, you can get any job that you want. Anything that you can. Anybody in America could be anything that they want to be. You got people that come over here without a damn green card, without a social security card, and figuring it out, and they wealthy. So we have an advantage on them because we got a social security card.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
They
we
have to come
have
over
an
here and find a way to get what we
get
have
it.
freely
Yeah.
Right.
and
So
work
that's what
hard
I'm
to
saying.
get it too.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the ideal of, if I gotta go to McDonald's and work for something that's not less than me, well, I'm not going thinking about how can I get to the next level. I'm gonna go
Mm-hmm.
do this. I don't want to do it. But if he cares ass to McDonald's, he gonna figure it out. But if he sit home, he ain't gonna figure out nothing. Like, that was the thing. I worked so hard growing up, I had to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this all my life. I can't
Mm-hmm.
stand on my feet. I gotta go get an education.
Mm-hmm.
That was my motivation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I used to be 17-year-old working in these factories. Like, man, I ain't doing this for the rest of my life.
We got to
I'm going
ask
to school.
the question though. We got to
But
ask the
let me
question why. Go ahead, Queen.
but I'm also going to tell you, because I have a friend from Africa, and
Mm-hmm.
education over there, he has I believe a bachelor's degree. He said over there it's nothing for him to get a degree.
That's why
Nothing. He said he's only coming here to get his master's because he wants to have a better job here. But he's already got the education, and he got it for next to nothing. They pay nothing close to what we pay. We're the land of the free, but we're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for education that they're paying a fraction of the cost for. So they go over there, they come through from their countries with their education that they paid a fraction of the cost for. And then they come over here and then they utilize it in order to get better jobs. So I'm gonna tell you, I had weight loss surgery. I paid $5,000 and some change to go to Mexico and have my surgery. The same surgery that they wanted to charge me $42,391 for in America because my
But you know,
insurance wouldn't
but
cover
you
it.
know what's dope? What's dope is you could go to Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Some of the Mexico can't come here. You know what I'm saying? Like we in America, we put ourselves in a position we can go anywhere. They can't move like we move. You know
They
what I'm
can't.
saying? They can't do what we do. Like, even with the guy coming from Africa with that bachelor's degree, you in America can hire him without a degree. You can start the business. You know what I'm saying? It's your business. You can own a hospital right now without a degree. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is have the will, the grind, the hustle, to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But we feel sorry for ourselves sometimes in certain situations, and we drop the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see,
Like
that's the question I wanted to ask you. You know, what is the switch? What is the switch in your mind that say, damn it, I got to do more than this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is that switch?
I think
You know,
it depends
when is
on the
that
person.
moment?
Depends on the person.
When does it happen?
I think it happens when you get around somebody that call you on your bullshit. When you get around someone that don't accept that bullshit. Like, if you're around someone and they allow you to be who you are and they never set the expectations higher, it's cool.
They're doing
You know
you
what I'm saying?
disservice, though.
That's right. Like, when I was in college, someone told me, someone told me when I was in college, and this I'm telling you.
No, you call them when they bullshit.
What I'm saying is,
bullshit caller.
when I was in college, right, a guy said to me, he said, if you go around somebody and they tell you you ain't changed in 20 years, he said, that's an insult. So how you been on this earth 20 years and you ain't learned